this thing on, I couldn't hear anything. It was total silence everywhere. Well, and it wasn't me unmuting, it was me trying to get the audio plugged in right. So I needed assistance from someone else who knows these things better than I.
Okay, we're live and ready to go.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Then why don't we begin the meeting of March 22nd, 2021 by Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
The first item on the agenda is to review and approve our minutes from the past two meetings. So starting with the meeting of February 22nd, are there any requests for modification or changes?
I'll make a motion to approve the February 22nd meeting minutes.
Thank
Second.
you, Richard. And second by Mike Leroy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next minutes are the minutes from our meeting held on March the 8th. Are there any requests for modification or changes?
I got one small one. That there was it was recorded that I voted no on does this plan protect the community from inappropriate design and other matters of significance? And I know no came out of my mouth, but I apologize about that, but I really have no objection to that. I would have said yes.
Okay.
I thought that was a sneeze.
Well, we were talking about something, it was something else that was being talked about that I said no to. And then we came back to the motion and
Gotcha.
I was kind of caught out there in the middle of the road.
Okay.
I guess, Lisa, this is kind of directed towards you. I know that we had a lot of letters and emails and I don't know who to ask this to, maybe Jamie or Joe. Are those part of the minutes?
They're not part of the minutes, but they're noticed as being part of the public record.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Ann. Was that Richard, you seconding?
Yeah, yep.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The minutes are approved as written. So the next item on the agenda is the application by Burlex Properties. And this is regarding the Freeman Estates. This is a 13-lot subdivision, but only 12 buildable lots, all under tax map number 101-02-02.1. And if I recall, the last hitch we had was we're looking for elevations for the conventional plan, and I think they arrived. And Doug, did you approve of those?
Yes.
Okay, it seems to me we just got in a brand new survey, but is it brand new or is that the same one from over a month ago?
It's an evolution. It includes some of the items that you requested. So we've updated the survey. I'm not sure which one you're looking at, but I believe the last one shows the 12 units with the 278 clustering, which we're proposing. I'm not sure if you're looking at the one with the topo on it or not, but we have a 25-foot setback from the 100-year flood elevation and from what the town classifies as steep grades. So that's shown on there. And I think what we also showed lot numbers. I believe the street number or the addresses are on there now from 911, the legal addresses. Also the street name, Freeman Court, is the approved name from county planning. Freeman Court, that little small public right of way, just the circle up there. We added the island, the grass island in the middle of the cul-de-sac as requested by the highway superintendent. So it's just, you know, typical evolution as we go forward.
Okay,
Everybody's address is Freeman Court there, right? All the
Freeman Court.
houses.
That's the, that would be the address for everybody. And the street numbers are on the new map you have. You have the lot number and then you have the legal mailing address. It always confuses us, but that's life.
all right, based upon the information provided in the elevation study, the conventional plan would indicate that it's appropriate for a 12-lot building subdivision, but total of 13 parcels altogether. Jamie, I think you've drawn up a resolution.
Yeah, I do have some proposed language, subject to the approval of this board. After review of the application and plan of the applicant, this board finds that in accordance with section 278 of the New York Town Law, State of New York, the applicant has presented a plan which shows that a conventional subdivision plan for this property in the R3 zone would accommodate up to 12 conforming lots for building and 1 additional lot. Accordingly, the applicant may move forward with a proposed cluster subdivision plan, section 278 of the town law and section 127.12 of the town of Manlius code. And the applicant has presented a proposed cluster subdivision plan showing the maximum of 12 building lots.
So I would entertain a motion if someone chose to make it to adopt the resolution as written.
I
Relative.
move that motion, Joe.
Thank you, Fred.
What? I'm a little confused. The resolution does what?
It's
did-
saying that it's the first phase of the clustering requirements, which is that he had to show the maximum number of lots that could come on a conventional plan, and he
So
has
this
shown
is this, we're approving the
Conforming.
density. We're approving the
Correct.
density. Okay, got it. Okay, I'll second that motion.
Okay, Fred made the motion, second by Richard. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. At this point, I'd like to ask the board members if they had any additional questions or any questions whatsoever of the developer, of Tom, relative to this.
I have a question about the kind of offshoots. That's the reason I asked if everybody's address was Freeman Court. I know in the Starlight subdivision, we've got a bit of a problem with little streets that run off of the court of the circle up there. In the contract for snow plowing, this is probably the homeowner's mess up, but in that situation, the town actually plows the street up there because it's a town road. But there's little short streets like that go off of it that I guess every homeowner is responsible for, and some people didn't know that. Rich and I have a friend that fell on the ice up there, and that's how that all came about. But in this particular layout, Tom, is it probably the school bus and the mail, there'd probably be a standalone mailbox down there for everybody, like often happens in communities, rather than
And I haven't spoken to the postal department yet to see how they want to handle it. But yes, normally there'll be 2 private drives, call them A and B for this matter, you know, one going east and one going west. So those are private driveways, and they would be maintained by the homeowners association. And I assume the mailboxes would be up there on the town portion, that one circle, which is the only road that the town is responsible for. So school buses would stop up there on that circle with a grass island in the middle, Freeman Court, I guess we're calling it. And then everything else would be private driveways, so to speak. Maintain, snow plowing, lawn care would all be done by the homeowners association. And also you should know the homeowners association is required to carry liability insurance for those common areas. So So if there were a personal injury on one of those areas, there's some insurance to go for. So that's all part of the offering that we'll put together. I also, two things. I gave Jamie some declarations, covenants, restrictions of record that we are proposing for the project. And I think, Rich, I gave you a copy too, and a couple of the other board members. We've met in between and gone through those. So there's lots of controls, lots of safeguards built in, and those will run with the land in perpetuity. So they're forever. They don't end. So that's number one. And then the other thing is, Jamie and I had a conversation today about some additional notes to the final plan regarding separation between units. And I don't know if Allison got those to you in time, but at the final hour today, we got another revised map from the surveyor showing those notes that Jamie and I talked about. I don't know if they got you guys or not, but so there'll be a little block showing that you can rely on, that there's going to be separation between houses. There's going to be separation from the 100-year floodplain and steep embankments. So we got those safeguards on the map as well as in the covenants. So there's double protection there.
Covenants are private covenants. They run only to the benefit of the various homeowners. And what we want is for some of those covenants to run to the benefit of the town. And so ultimately, if we approve something like this or similar to this, then we would have that in the resolution, particularly with respect to distances between houses, if that's important to you, because what they're talking about is that what's going to be conveyed is just a footprint of the house, and the rest of it's going to be common area. So it's one thing to have a protection for the homeowners, but it's another thing for the town. So as we move forward on a determination, then you all need to decide if you're comfortable with these distances. Because what you don't want to happen at the end of the day is, they come in and try to squeeze something like right next to another house, or because they can always change the covenants too, and they're not bound by them. The upside is that Tom and his group are experienced developers. So we know their track record and their work. But, if this gets sold to some other developer or someone else comes in and builds, you want to make sure that the same standards are upheld.
And again, as Jamie and I talk, a maximum of 12 homes. And I don't know. I mean, it may very likely there may be 8 or 9. If somebody comes in and builds a larger home, and that's why we need the flexibility of the 0 lot line, because if somebody were to come in and wanted to build a larger home and consumed 2 lots or 3 areas, we still have to maintain separation between units, setbacks, all that's been established, but we don't have to go and file an amended subdivision map or do a re-subdivision. And that's the beauty of what we're trying to do.
I've got a question for you. Your target market here is who?
Empty nester, baby. I say it's going to be mostly retirement. And my partner and I, we disagree on some of this stuff, but I think, I don't know, I guess my age group now, I'm that age. So, people who don't want to, they don't want to mow the lawn anymore. They don't want to plow the snow. They basically want more maintenance free. I think you're going to see people that spend a lot of time south in the winter. It'll be a higher price tag though. It'll be 500,000 and up, I believe. Although these days everything seems to be going up with lumber prices.
The reason I ask you the question is that if these folks are, say, your age or my age, they're going to have to back out of their driveway into Freeman Court, correct?
No.
Oh.
The private driveways are actually very, so to speak. I mean, there really no. In fact, there'll only be 2 entrances onto Freeman Court for the 2 private driveways. Really, everything, most of the driving is going to be on the private part of the driveway. I don't see anybody backing out of anything, only onto the private driveway.
Okay. Thank you.
Tom, I did go through your covenants and restrictions. I think they're very good. I've got probably 6 or 7 questions that you and I can talk with outside of this meeting. I addressed a couple of them with Jamie, but I think there needs to be a little bit of an expansion to cover the town in some of these, but they're fairly minor, so I'd be
I
happy
have
to
a
talk.
few of my own, so I'll more than happy to meet with you and we can go over that. A couple more I was going to add to that
Yeah, so you're welcome to talk to Tom as long as you bring it back to this board, okay? And also, Lisa, has everyone gotten these covenants? Have you sent them to the whole board?
Yes, I send them to the whole board.
Thank you.
And they
I have a
do also
question.
address stormwater, which is, the new way of doing it, where the homeowners take more responsibility for stormwater management, especially we don't have a lot of detention, retention on this site because it's not very compacted, so to speak. We got a lot of land area, but it's a liability for the town to be mowing these detention, retention basins and taking care of them and, doing all the stuff they have to do. So it seems to be the way of the future.
I have a question, speaking of the covenant. What is the plan to guarantee the succession of the covenant, especially if it's more retired age, that there might be more turnover? And how do we guarantee that everyone, when they sell their home, is going to pass the covenant along, it's going to be part of the sale, et cetera?
Okay.
And so
Well,
that
the covenants are part of your title, so they are part of your abstract of title. So every time somebody buys or sells, but beyond that, it's all really about money. Money is what makes the world go around. But every time a house gets sold, there's going to be a deposit to the reserve fund of the homeowners association. Typically, I haven't set the numbers yet. Typically, it's $500. So every time a house gets sold, new or existing, they have to make a $500 to new people. Whoever comes on board has to make a $500 one-time payment into the homeowners reserve fund, which is allocated for all sorts of stuff. But in any event, and then they're going to make a monthly payment for their common charges, and that's going to cover everything from snow removal, lawn care, stormwater management, that insurance we talked about, liability insurance. It's going to cover basically everything. I'm not sure how far we're going to go on exterior maintenance. We're talking right now. Give you example, Erie Village, everything is exterior maintenance is handled. The roofs are handled, the siding's handled, everything. Anything on the outside of the house is handled by the homeowners association, including your fire insurance on the structure. And the reason that is that if we were ever to have a fire, we know it's going to get rebuilt. So somebody couldn't take the insurance money and leave a carcass on the property, which would be an eyesore. So there is some value in having homeowners insurance, or at least structure the insurance in the common charge or as part of the HOA. But that'll be all part of what we submit to the Department of Law in our offering plan. So anybody who buys or sells a home, they're confronted with the offering because it's in their abstract. And I guess the biggest culprits here are probably the attorneys, especially attorneys for new home purchasers that don't share this information with their customer or with their clients. Jamie and I knows what I'm talking about because we see it all the time. But they're a matter of record, and it's, your attorney should explain this stuff to you. So if you're buying a house in a planned community, and whether it has a de minimis offering or a full-fledged offering plan, those are important that your attorney explain the ramifications of what it is.
So if there is anything else that this board feels very strongly is a covenant that needs to run to the benefit of the town, I'd like that to come forth. We're not there yet, but hopefully soon.
Jamie,
I gave some-
I'll send you some information off on my thoughts on the
Okay.
the restrictions. I have one question, and I'm not sure if it's legal or how it works, but I understand what Tom's doing. It makes sense. When he sells a home, what he's selling is the footprint of the building, which means at the end of the day, there will be 12 lots, if I can call it that,
Okay.
which will be different than what we're seeing on this plan. And my question is, when we're done with the 12, is there a need to file an amended subdivision plan clearly showing what those 12 lots look like? Or what we have before us, is that adequate? I don't have an answer.
Go ahead. I know you.
Well, I can tell you a couple of things that happen. So every time we sell a house or build a house or sell a house, basically we convey title by warranty deed. So this is not a condominium. This is a fee ownership. So you get a deed. In addition, once the foundation is actually in, once we know what the footprint is, we know what the shape of that house actually is, the surveyor goes out and prepares an as-built survey of the foundation or the structure where it sits on the property. We record that survey with a quitclaim deed from the homeowners association. Now, the homeowners association owns all the green space, so to speak. And when we record that quitclaim deed, the homeowners association says, we're giving up any claim to the land shown inside that footprint. So what it does is it purifies the title so that any discrepancy between the map that we approve, the subdivision map that gets filed, and what actually gets built is purified and rectified as the homes are built. When we file those quitclaim deeds, they become a matter of public record. Tax mapping also picks that up. So when it gets to the county over the Civic Center, the tax mapping department gets that quitclaim deed, references the filed subdivision map, and corrects it. So it really gets all fixed on its own.
Oh, okay, that may answer.
And
the question.
that is how it's done at Erie Village.
Yep.
It has been
And
done.
Austin Meadows and all the other ones I've done.
Okay,
How do you
So,
sell
Tom-
homeowners?
that may answer a question I had for you, Tom, that I was going to discuss later, but I'll ask it now just so I understand. In your deed restrictions, it says that you as the developer or whatever you're called, I can't remember right now, you're going to deed prior to any lot being sold, you're going to deed the common areas over the HOA. So
Correct.
now, if I'm understanding, you're going to deed the entire property to the
Correct.
HOA.
Correct.
Then the HOA will deed the footprint of the building to the actual homeowner when they die.
Little different, Rich. What we're going to do is we're going to convey the whole thing to the HOA, and we're going to accept lots 1 through 12. Okay, so in essence, we're saying, yeah, we're conveying the whole, but we're reserving or we're holding on to lots 1 through 12, which are conceptual footprints. They're not necessarily what's going to actually get built, but
Okay.
it's just a kind of foot in the door. And then as they get built and we file those quitclaim deeds, and the HOA, the homeowners association, signs the quitclaim deed, purifying, saying that we're not making any claim to the land inside the footprint, because that's going to be owned by John and Mary Doe. You don't want to encumber that because the bank would have a problem with it. So that's how it gets purified. That's how it gets cleaned up. And Erie Village, 500 of them right next door. So.
Okay, I'm still a little confused, Tom, and I'm not an attorney, so I apologize for my ignorance on this. But if you reserve the 12 lots, who is then deeding to the homeowner whatever it is that you're deeding, which is the footprint of the building?
That would be the development company. In this case, it's going to probably be, we're going to form a new LLC. It'll be called Brolex Freeman LLC.
Okay,
Chris Danaher will do that for me, but it'll be a new LLC. And so we will convey the whole 20 some acres to the HOA, except lots 1 through 12 as shown on the map.
okay, so then there'll be 2 deeds when you sell a property, one going to the homeowner, the other going to the HOA for whatever the balance of that lot is.
But no, there'll be 2 deeds. One will be from the developer to the homeowner, and the
Yep.
second one will be from the HOA to the homeowner. And the deed from the HOA to the homeowner is basically saying the HOA is not making any claim to the land shown inside the footprint. In other words, so the people who are buying the house own the land under the house in fee simple with no challenges, it's pure.
That very first deed the very first transaction is going to be 2 deeds, one from the builder, developer, one from the HOA.
Right. Well, it
And what
depends when the
Tom says, it
foundation goes in, but yeah, you're right. Yeah.
purifies the title, so to speak.
Okay, all right, now I get it. So there will be 2 deeds. Okay, I'm on
In the
board.
first
Thank you.
transaction.
And it's interesting. My father actually created this system of doing it. And I think the first one was, I keep the name of the, not the gazebo. What's the one next door to that? Oh, down by Wellington House. What's the name of that project?
Devin Doubtful?
Harry Pooster did it. What's his name?
Oh, behind there. Yeah.
And you should know, what is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, that was the very first one. And then Erie Village and all the other ones came. And it really is a good way to do it because it does, envelopes and pre-planned stuff doesn't always work because you don't know what the future holds. You don't know what the economy is going to do. You don't know what the housing market's going to do. You don't know what lumber pricing is going to do. It's always guesswork, so this creates so much flexibility as long as we put the parameters in place and again, with the new notes on the map as well, that'll protect the town with the separation, the setbacks. It's a matter of record. And also on the easements and stuff too, you'll notice in the covenants, I do give cross easements to the town for, drainage and stuff like that. So if there was a problem and the HOA didn't perform as they're supposed to perform, the town has the right to go in there, and there's some legal ramifications. They can actually file a lien against the property, the green space. They can take some of their reserve money. There's all sorts of stuff in there. So.
Well, that was one of my issues, and I talked to Jamie about it earlier today. And we'll talk about it. No sense in talking about it tonight, but thank you for clarifying that.
Okay.
I just a general question, because I was intrigued by this. Since everything is common area except the building envelope,
Right.
You've got some language in there that if people don't pay their common area dues, you have the right to stop their access to the common areas, which would be their driveway to get to their house.
And
So
technically,
according to the documents, you could stop them from getting to their house. And I was reading that saying, wow, that's pretty strict.
Well, fortunately, we haven't had a problem with it. The only ones we've seen is where foreclosures or divorce cases, but we've never done that. Nobody's ever, stopped mowing the lawn or stopped plowing the snow. What happens is a lien is filed against the property. Ultimately, it gets paid when the house gets sold or whatever. So
Right.
it hasn't been a problem. And most of these HOAs are very healthy. Like Erie Village has done phenomenal. And I don't even know, I'm not on the board anymore, but that's a little government, little community all of its own. With 500 homes, my gosh, there's a lot there, a lot of money on the table.
So
right. Thanks, Tom. I'm way into the weeds.
To understand, a lot of this is going to come up. We have to have a public hearing. We have to, vet what we want on our resolution. And Joe, I'm going to hand this back to you.
Well, the reason I was asking if anyone had any other questions is my next step is to entertain a motion to schedule a public hearing.
Well, Joe, before you do that, I just have one question for Tom.
Yes,
On
Mike.
these footprints,
Mhm.
are these all 2-story homes, 1-story home? Or
No,
is it up to,
well, I'm not prohibiting 2-story homes, but my guess is that they'll all be 1-story homes. Yeah, I think that's my envision. You may have,
Square footage approximately.
yeah, pardon me?
Sorry, I just wanted to, how much square footage approximately? I know they're just footprints, but just,
I would say typical footprint, 22 to 2,500 square feet. On the, again, could they have a couple bedrooms on the second floor? Yeah, I think I can envision that. You'll see that in a lot of our trade. That Poolsbrook subdivision, I don't know if anybody's been through there. It's out on Route 5, right over the county line. It's all ranch style homes, and they go from 1,800 to 3,000 square feet. But there's maybe 3 or 4 2-stories in the whole place out of 75 homes. So that's kind of, but here we're dealing with 12, and we control the architectural. So I would say most of them are going to be 1-story. You may have a bonus space on the second floor.
thank you.
thank you.
When can we schedule a public hearing? Lisa?
What, next time, if you want, we do need to declare this an unlisted action for seeker. And I call for the public hearing. We, depending on, you know, what we have next time, we can either do seeker or we can do the public hearing, much like in other clusters that we've done, and then do the seeker after that.
My thought is to do both of them. To move forward with the seeker and then go right into the public hearing.
I'll make a motion for that.
I'll second it.
Motion
Yeah.
made and second.
And to declare this action unlisted, please.
We will,
So moved,
we,
yeah.
Yep.
okay.
So what
Motion.
time? It would be April 12th, I believe.
Yep.
And what time?
6:35.
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion made and a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're scheduled for public hearing. We're gonna have it, I'm presuming based upon the nature of the motion, it is an unlisted action now. Jamie?
Yes, it is. Mhm.
Okay, so then we'll go right into seeker and then we'll open it up to the public for any questions the public may have.
Okay.
Tom, you okay?
Yeah, I'm very good with it. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time and your courtesies and.
Are you going to do all the building, Tom?
Yeah, well, we're gonna do all the building.
Okay, good.
Actually, Paul Fowler called me. He wanted to build some, who knows? But we're planning right now, we're planning on building them up.
He's good, though. Paul's,
Yeah, Paul's a good guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
no question. So that's where, and I'll get some stuff, revisions to you guys before the public hearing. So we'll be up to speed with all your requests.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the application by Naparella Consulting. This is an initial presentation for site plan. It's a proposed storage facility located at 7030 Manlius Center Road, East Syracuse. We would call it Fremont. And it pertains to two tax map numbers, 062-4-6.1 and 062-4-6.2. Is there someone here to speak on behalf of the applicant? Hi, Christian.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. This is an initial presentation. So could you tell us what you're trying to do and describe it in a little bit of detail, what you'd like us to approve?
Absolutely. I'm going to share my screen here if you don't mind. I've got a little
Go right ahead.
PowerPoint for you. Okay, can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. So my name is Christian Hill. I'm with Naparella Consulting, here representing G&T Properties LLC. We are proposing a self-storage facility. Oh, there we go. Self-storage facility on Manlius Center Road. We received zone change approval from the town board last month. So the zoning district of the two parcels is now commercial B. So self-storage facility is now an allowed use on this property. Project location is on the south side of Manlius Center Road, on the very west side of the town of Manlius, a couple hundred feet before the border with the town of DeWitt. The subject site is currently a vacant commercial lot. As we said last time, the daycare is to the west side, the fire station is to the east side, and there's that shopping center and auto repair across the street on the north side of Manlius Center Road. This is the existing conditions survey. Should be noted that the two lots are going to be consolidated, total of 2.5 acres, just about. We're currently in the process of gaining signatures from the county so that we can file it with them. We've already received signatures from the town. The proposed development is, as you see before you, asphalt driveway on the south side of Manlius Center Road, leading to that front parking area and front door entrance to the office on the west side of that front building. That front building is a partial office center to kind of serve as a headquarters for operations. And then the rest of it will all be climate controlled storage. So that's all accessed by indoor. It's all indoor storage. So there's a doorway and there'll be hallways throughout. The remainder of the buildings on site are all drive up outdoor storage buildings. And so those will not be climate controlled. Those are just the typical, when you see a self-storage site, those overhead doors to storage buildings. There will be a monument sign up front with the future business name, and all of the buildings will conform to the setbacks that are required. We are not requesting any area variances at this time. It should also be noted that there's an access gate at the front of the property with a keypad, typical for a site with this kind of use. We will be providing chain link security fence along the boundary of the edge of pavement as well. Grading and drainage for the site. The majority of the property drains back to the south to the rear of the property. We will be accomplishing our stormwater quality mitigation through vegetated swales on either the west side and the east side of the site. But a majority of the interior of the impervious area will be collected by catch basins. You can see on the south end of those outdoor storage buildings, and those will all enter a water quality unit and underground storage detention chambers before discharging to the low point on the south end of the site. The utilities for the site are pretty straightforward. All utility connections will be off of the south side of Manlius Center Road. Everything will be coordinated with the county or the town as necessary. And the only utilities that will be needed for these outdoor storage buildings will be electricity for the building mounted light fixtures. None of those will need sanitary or water, etc. Landscaping for the site, we have a line of street trees out front to kind of break up the facade of that building. And as well, we're trying to focus on providing trees and screening on the west side, which is the boundary with the daycare on the adjacent property. Lighting plan, we do not show any pole-mounted light fixtures at this time. Believe that all of the lighting for the site can be accomplished via building-mounted light fixtures throughout the site, and those will all be dark sky compliant fixtures. I know it's hard to see these photometrics kind of come out blurry on the PowerPoint, but we are showing 0 foot candles at all property lines, including the right-of-way with Manlius Center Road.
Christian, do you have any, Christian, can I ask, this is Rich Rossetti. Do you have any
Yes.
elevations from Route 290 to your property with the landscape features, or from the daycare center to your property?
No, we do not have any elevations at this time, kind of showing the streetscape or what the exact building will look like with those landscaping features.
Okay, thank you.
But you've seen this picture before, and this is what we've been showing to kind of portray an example of what that office / indoor storage building will look like at the front of the site. This will be different than those outdoor storage buildings. We want it to kind of have a facade with either some stone veneer or, you know, architectural pieces up top. Our goal is for this to look nice from the Manlius Center Road streetscape. But again, we do not have anything exact showing, you know, our detailed goal for what that will look like at this time. Okay, so now that we presented what was submitted to you, I need to catch you up on our conversations with DOT. So at the end of last week, we received comments from New York State DOT for their stage 1 review. They did not like that we showed the driveway so close to the intersection with Eisenhower Avenue. So to accommodate that, we have basically mirrored the front of the site. So everything is the exact same, but we've flipped the building and the driveway and parking. And that's to provide safe turning movements as you're taking a left out of this driveway. Before, DOT pointed out that as you took a left, you were kind of entering the intersection with Eisenhower. Now with the driveway location on the east side of the site, as you take a left, you're entering the Manlius Center Road right of way with safe distance to that intersection. So in our next submittal, we will be providing site plans that will detail this layout on every site plan sheet. But with such short notice from DOT to this meeting, we only had time to put together this layout in time to show you what our goal is for the next meeting.
Christian.
So
Christian,
again, yes, please.
This is Rich Rossetti again. I'm sorry. There's a note with an arrow to where the entrance was going to be. The print's so small I can't read it. What does that say?
That note says existing asphalt driveway to be removed and replaced with full reveal granite curbing, topsoil, seed and mulch as needed. So the goal for that driveway will be closed altogether. There will be one access driveway into the site.
Okay,
And
thank
that
you.
will be on the east side. Yes,
Okay,
no problem.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And with that, I will end my screen share, and we are here to answer any questions or address any concerns that you might have. Again, my apologies for presenting this site layout on such short notice to the board. We only received DOT comments at the end of last week, so it just wouldn't have been feasible for us to give you another submittal. But you will see those with our next submittal.
Christian, if you could go back to that screenshot, I apologize.
No problem, of course.
It's so difficult to read the comments and understand. I see on the back of the property, a red dotted line that cuts across the asphalt area. What is the significance of that dotted line?
That dotted line represents the building setback. So that on the rear side of the site, that would be the rear yard setback. And on the sides, those would be the side yard setback. So we would not be allowed to put any building or structure past those red dotted lines.
Okay, and there's two notes on what I think is the west side of the property. Yeah, one right about where you've got your, what's that say?
That says existing riprap slope armoring to remain as necessary. Right now, in between the daycare and the existing site, there's a good amount of slope right there, and it's armored with stone riprap. And our goal would be to replace that as needed. There is a good amount of grade change between this side of the site and the daycare site. So we just want to ensure that any grading we do in there is not going to cause any problems for the daycare. We want to make sure that's a stable slope and we don't have any erosion issues.
And then there's another note. There's another note to the south. Right.
This one here.
Yep.
Yep. That one's just the side yard setback. I believe it
Okay.
is 15 feet.
And have you calculated the amount of fill you're bringing in?
We have not done any earthwork calculations at this point in time.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course. I can leave this up if that's helpful.
Yeah. No, I think you've answered all my questions.
Okay.
And Chris, we did hear back from county planning. And county planning simply made two recommendations. One, that you contact DOT and keep them informed and provide them with a copy of your SWIP. And the second one is from county planning, saying that they would like you to maximize front yard aesthetic values by architectural detailing anything visible from Route 290, Manlius Center Road.
Okay.
So unremarkable, I would say. Folks, does anyone have any further questions of Chris?
Kristen, this is Fred Gilbert. You probably have, I probably should know, but are these 1 or 2 level buildings? Is there 2 stories?
What, one story? Every building shown is single story, yes. And that's including the office at the front of the site.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Doug, have you had an opportunity to review the SWIP?
I have not in detail, but at the first glance, it looks like it's in pretty good shape. And we worked with Kristen's office in the past with, excuse me, with some of these underground facilities. So my sense is that it's probably going to be in good shape, but we'll get something back to you by the next meeting.
Okay, is it fair to describe the land as being very flat throughout?
Very flat. Yep.
Okay,
Excuse me.
Doug, I thought it sloped off in the back.
Does a little bit.
It does a little bit, but it's pretty flat. If you recall, it's the same site that Greg had brought us before for the trailer sales.
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
generally flat, but it gets wet in the back.
Okay. All right.
But there's a slight slope to the back. I mean, Christian can confirm that.
Yeah, as you get towards the rear of the site, we play a little bit of catch up, but I think it's only 3 or 4 feet.
Okay. All right.
my next question's to our legal counsel. It seems to me we're pretty much ready to be scheduling a public hearing.
I believe so. It appears that way.
That being the case, I would entertain a motion.
I would move that we have it also on April the 12th of probably 7 o'clock.
I'll second that.
And can we also incorporate into that motion that this is an unclassified action?
Yes,
Unlisted, yes. Mhm.
Unlisted?
Unlisted.
Yep.
Yeah, I heard Fred say that.
yeah,
Okay, so motion made by Fred. Who was, who seconded?
Rich.
I did, Joe.
Rich, I should have known better. All in favor of moving forward with the public hearing and we'll do secret at the same time.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Lisa, are we able to put it on for the April 12th day, or is that going to be too congested?
I think we should be all right.
April the 12th it is.
I'll do 6:40.
Yeah, why don't we say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Christian, it might be delayed. We've already got one hearing scheduled, but it might be delayed a little bit beyond that.
Understandable, that's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
We'll see
you very
then.
much. All right, awesome. Can I just say, it's really nice to see some sunshine coming through windows at this time of night.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Thanks, Christian.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, take care.
Thank you.
Nice job. Good job, Christian.
So our next application is a request by Melanie Nicotra. And this is regarding, this is her initial presentation for site plan approval to build a greenhouse. And the location would be 7550 Colomer Road, East Syracuse, New York. And I believe that's right at the corner of Colomer Road and the Bridgeport Manoa Road. Tax map number 038-3-18.4. Melanie?
I'm here.
The floor is yours. If you'd like to tell us what you're doing and why you're doing and what might have been there before.
It's a vacant farm field right now. I sell produce right on the corner. I'd like to put up a greenhouse so I can sell my plants there. Just because due to family circumstances, I need to move my retail operations.
Okay, now you used to have it was like a corner drive-through with a little wagon there on the corner.
Yes, exactly.
Would all that be removed?
Yeah, it would be put back closer to the greenhouse with the driveway to drive through to make it safer for customers to drive through. But the produce would probably still be under a tent just to make access easier for the customers.
Okay. Can you tell us the nature of this structure, whether this is a permanent structure?
Nope,
or-
It's a greenhouse, which is a non-permanent structure. It's made out of 2 3/4 inch pipe with a plastic 6 mil covering over it.
Are you gonna heat this?
Only as with a small heater as needed. Usually I don't even turn on the heaters in May.
Okay. You're not gonna grow all year?
No, that's not the plan right now, no.
Okay,
Because I have a farm down on North Manlius.
yes.
Melanie, this is Rich Rossetti. Any discussions with the state about the curb cut?
No, not yet. I haven't talked to the state because I thought I had to get you guys approval before I could talk to the state.
Okay, and Shep's Corners Road, I'm generally asking this, is that a town road, county road? Does anybody know?
County.
County, okay, okay.
Rich, it has gone to Onondaga County Planning, so we should hear back from them by the end of the month.
Okay, okay.
And just so you know, this is an approved use in this zoning district. So.
Okay.
Melanie, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the surface underneath where you're putting up the greenhouse. Is any of that impervious? In other words, paved or concrete, or is it all going to be just earthen?
It's just gonna be run brush. Except for
Okay.
the edge of the driveway.
Okay,
Gonna be what?
Crushed stone,
Crushed stone.
Dry-
Okay.
stone, yeah.
Those driveway cuts, Melanie, they'll probably make you pave them back a little ways.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what the plans say.
Yep, yep. And we have looked at the area. I mean, it's traditionally a wet area, but it looks like there are no wetlands. There are no floodplains. So,
There's just one little wet spot right near 298 that would be right in the driveway, so that would have to be filled, but beyond that, it's all dry. It's
yeah, I
all
think it's just wet because it's been raining and
Where are you gonna
snowing.
get your water from? Where does the water come from?
Meaning water to water the greenhouses or
Yeah, you gotta,
the site water? I'm debating between the water supply, aqua, and just dropping a well.
oh, okay. So you don't know yet?
I don't know yet, no.
Okay.
Depends on how quickly I can get the water from the city.
Okay.
The city water.
Do you have, is it going to have a restroom facility where you have a septic tank or hook onto a
No,
sewer?
not at this time. I use a porta john.
Okay.
hey Doug, it almost looks to me like there's no reason to have a SWIP. Am I wrong?
Probably not. I mean, what Melanie's suggesting is she's gonna have just run a crush there. It's probably less than an acre.
Yes,
Um,
it's definitely less than an acre.
You know, Joe, there aren't really any neighbors close by. I mean, sometimes when we have something like this that's less than an acre, you know, in tricky areas, we do ask for, you know, some type of a letter, but I don't see that there's really any issue here. So I would say, you know, by regulation and by just our understanding of the local area, we probably don't need a SWIP in this scenario, if you all agree. I mean, I think it'd be a nice addition out there to a vacant spot.
Are you gonna, excuse me, are you gonna grow in this greenhouse or just sell?
Just sell. I have a farm with 11 greenhouses, quarter of a mile down the road.
Right, I know, yeah,
Yeah. So I just truck them up to the corner.
sure.
Melanie, what's your timetable as far as when you're intending to do this?
As soon as possible. It's taken me forever to get the plans together and everything. I'm looking at to open May 1st, hopefully, but we'll see how that works out.
And this is something that can be constructed in a matter of just a few weeks.
Yes.
Further questions from the board members?
No, it seems pretty simple, Joe.
Yeah, I agree.
Melanie, what's the property that you're surrounding there that, you know, the on the corner?
Well, my property is a 4-acre farm field right now. Across the street is Crossroads Tavern.
Okay.
Used to be Floyd's or Sable's. Used to be Sable's. Then there's a gas station. It's J&J on the opposite corner, and then there's an apartment house directly across the street from me on North Manlius.
Okay.
Okay. I actually hate to do this, but it seems to me that we're really ready for a public hearing.
I think we could do it on April the 8th, not 12th, don't you? These other two are probably not gonna, they're not gonna be I can't imagine that there's gonna be that many people.
I agree with Fred. I think
do
this
too.
would be pretty light.
All right, so I would entertain a motion.
And Joe, I do remind you, we have a couple of the solar applications are coming back. They'll be both on that day as well. So it could be a busy night.
It could be a busy night. That's what I'm worried about. But in fairness to Ms. Nicotra,
Sure.
why don't we try to move forward? So I would entertain a motion, firstly, that this be declared a unlisted action, and that we will schedule for secret and public hearing.
So
The next-
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Richard and second by Michael. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed?
And I
Motion-
guess it's 6:50 for the
45.
public hearing?
Now, Melanie, we're going to call that 6:50, but we really don't know. This is the third one that evening, so
Understandable.
could be delayed a little.
Could be, I'll be here until it's over, so.
Okay,
So will we.
Oh, we.
Hey, Melanie,
Yes.
one of your sheets shows plantings for landscaping, and it
Yes.
also shows lights. Is that
Um,
is that really what you want? I just bring that up in case somebody brings it up at the public hearing. I don't think we need either one, but it's up to you of what you want to show. They don't show on the,
Right.
they don't show on the plan.
Right. If I don't have to, the architect just put them in there in case you guys wanted them. To give that option.
So right now, board, they don't show on the plan. There's just details in the back.
Right.
Which probably is a good thing at this point.
which way, Richard? Good
That
thing.
they don't show. If she doesn't need them, there's no sense in putting them on there.
And this is a very rural area. You're out actually in the middle of nowhere, Melanie.
I definitely am in the middle of nowhere.
That would be my sense too. I mean, I don't think they're needed or required, but I just bring that up in case somebody brings it up at a later.
Yeah, no, I Doug, that's a good point. If she's not going to heat the structure, that tells me they're not going to be open for 3, 4, 5 months during the year. It should be light enough the rest of the year to take care of what she needs.
Okay.
Yes.
Then we stand adjourned, and I think I heard the wrong date. The date's going to be April the 12th
Right.
at 6:50.
Okay.
Thank you for coming and talking to us.
Thank you. Don't mind my cake.
Thanks, Melanie. Nice meeting you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you too. Bye-bye.
So folks, the next item on the agenda is a special permit renewal. This is a permit for a business called Compassionate Care Vet Hospital. It's run by Dr. John and Connie Enders. It's for property located at 8277 and 8275 East Seneca Turnpike, Manlius. We have heard from Code Enforcement Officer Randy Capriati, and Randy has reviewed the application for renewal of the special permit. And he is telling us that there have in fact been no complaints, no problems with that property.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll
For-
second.
And the duration of that approval, is this going to
7
be our
years.
7 years.
7 years.
7 years? So we've got a motion made by Ann and second by, I think that was Mike. Second it. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Special permit has been approved and are trusting that our loyal secretary will send that out to them.
Yes, I will.
We have on our agenda other business related to the 2 solar plants that had previously been approved. And more particular, this is the Green Lake Road solar plant and the North Eagle Village solar plant. Is there someone here to speak on behalf of that?
Joe, we postpone that to the next one, to the next meeting.
We have.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I was talking about, Joe.
Yeah,
So
that, yeah.
Okay. And that actually should be fairly simple because that was totally resolved. And I think the only issue remaining is the plantings, the plantings.
I know also, Joe, that they wanted to discuss the time frames. I got a call today from their council.
Yeah.
And how we put it on for a 7-year time frame. So I'd like the board to think about that. It was explained to me that these installations don't begin to pay for themselves until after year 12. And so there was some concern about the very short time frame on the special permit. So
What
Why don't
about
we-
what about the 1 mile law?
that we're not on that one yet.
Okay,
Yep, still working on that one.
Can you repeat the 2 locations again? North Eagle Village and the other one was?
The
Green Lakes.
Green Lake Road.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
Chuck
those were
Havener's farm.
approved. Those are already approved.
They are approved.
Yeah.
They are approved and they want to come back and talk to us about two issues relating to them. The good news is that we complained about a month ago about the solar projects not going through.
Right.
And it now appears that solar projects that we have previously approved are in fact moving and they're all going to be coming through.
Good.
That's a good thing. This one on North Eagle Village, is that the one on Townsend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes on Townsend, yes.
Okay, good.
The other thing is the one on Chuck Havener's farm, Green Lakes Road Solar.
Yep.
I have gone back and forth with Jody Hunt from Tetra Tech, who's their engineer. She did provide a location for screening. They are willing to do the screening. Our resolution didn't really say where the screening should be. So Jody's had her landscape architect, Jim Stevenson, who I know pretty well, just put it on there where he thought would be best. But if the board could look at that, Jody said that, they're open to putting it wherever anybody would like. The other thing was that there was a requirement in our resolution that the plantings had to be done by April 30th. Jody also was looking for some relief on that. She'd rather plant them in the fall. She thinks that where they are right now, they'll probably start construction, mid to late summer. And if they could plant in the fall, it would be better for them because then they could make sure that the trees make it through a season. And if they have to remove them, then they could remove them at that time. But those were the 2 things. I told her those seemed reasonable and I would pass that along to the board. So if you get a chance, take a look. A lot of that site is already screened and, within reason, she would put those trees where anybody wants them.
The one on North Eagle Village Road, was Winchell happy when he got done with his trees for screening?
Oh, yeah.
That was the house that faced onto the solar array.
They offered to put in that row of Colorado blue spruce
Yeah. Did
right
they-
in his front lawn
Yep.
instead of down at the site, which was a much better solution.
Did they accept it?
Oh, they loved it.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Lisa, can I get the information for those 2?
Of course. Yep, and I'll send everybody the new screenings that Jody sent to Doug as well.
Great.
Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
Jamie, since they're coming to us, I'm not sure if both of them are, but one of them definitely is looking for an extension of the 7 years to some other period of time.
They're
Can-
both looking for it.
Okay, so we can now attach some contingencies like we did on the last one. They got to pull the building permit, and I know we're all saying they're moving forward, but this may be a good time to say 1 year for the building permit, 3 years to complete construction.
Here,
Excellent.
here.
Yeah. That's good.
I agree.
Yep. Makes a
Well,
lot of
what-
sense, Rich.
What's to stop them from coming back after 7 years?
They're concerned that the special permit does have some discretionary component to it. And they don't want to have another board, I don't know who will still be here, doing this, have another board say, this is, you can't do it, or neighbors complained or whatever. There's a concern.
Mike, if I had to make a guess, I would say it deals with financing. That maybe they're looking for a 15-year loan that the lender may not want to give them if they've only got a 7-year special use permit. But I don't know.
That was not mentioned to me. It was strictly about the concern of the investment, and that the 7 years doesn't even cover their investment. And
We've been involved with these. The minimum amount of where you get your payback is 6 to 7 years. So Rich, I think you're spot on, right? I think, you get your initial, if you structure it properly, you can get your initial buyback in 6 to 7 years. But to Jamie's point, that's an aggressive schedule. That's an aggressive monetary schedule. So you're probably closer to 12 to 15, like Jamie was told. I mean, it makes sense. And that's probably a function of whoever wants to fund this, whether it's private equity investors or, a bank or somebody, that they would have a problem if they couldn't do that.
Especially in New York with all the sunshine, it's probably a 50 or 60-year payback.
The only reason I ask is we won't get in a pickle because we've set kind of this boundary at 7 years. Now we're being asked to extend it to 12 years. That won't pose a problem for us down the road, will it?
Not
by
if
the
there's
way,
a,
they're not saying 12. They don't even want a limit on it. I want you to be
Oh.
clear.
They probably, Mike, they probably would want 25 to 30. That's generally the life expectancy of the panels.
Well,
But-
that's what I thought, and I was kind of reaching for that, but
Mhm.
I just, we've tried to set standards, and I guess we'll have to just deal with it.
Well,
I'm gonna-
it's for discussion. That's why I wanted you to hear that tonight and have the opportunity to think about it before we do anything next week. They'll be here talking to us.
I'm gonna send this back to Jamie because it's more of a legal question. But as Mike said, we typically do a 7-year term, but we also have input whether or not to renew it. In the past, we've always been of the mindset, if there's no complaints, so on and so forth, we renew it. Maybe there's a way to structure the 7-year term in a more favorable position to the applicant, that if there aren't problems, not that it's automatic, but that it's an easier renewal process than our typical 7-year special use permits.
Well, I will say this, the applicant's counsel has offered to set forth some language that they think would be acceptable. I will ask them to send it to me. And
Sounds
I'll
good.
circulate it. We'll see what
Okay.
they say. I don't
Sounds good.
have any idea what it's going to be.
I like that.
Sounds
Perfect.
good.
Good.
okay. And that, I believe, concludes our agenda for this evening, unless there is request for anything further.
I'll second Fred's motion.
Fred, we have to hear
Yes,
you
I
make
did.
it. We have a motion made by Fred, now second by Rich, to stand adjourned. All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Anybody opposed? No. We stand adjourned. Thank you,
Good night.
everyone.
Everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.